Welcome to Secret Story. It was my best friend's house party at a new place that he and his fiancée had moved into. It was a chill night where the drinks and smokes kept everyone high. My boyfriend was with me and I had a good chill session after a long time. I was planning to stay the night at their place before going back home. There were a couple of new people, but the rest were friends or people I knew but were not exactly close with. Tyler came and left with his girlfriend. Jack, my boyfriend's friend, also left. I asked my boyfriend to stay and he said he would. Feeling sleepy and too drunk and high, I followed my best friend, Robert, towards the guest bedroom and lay down on the bed. The party was coming to an end pretty early and I was looking forward to my boyfriend joining me in bed. What I didn't know was that my boyfriend had already left to go home. His friend, David, however, was too drunk to drive back. Robert managed to convince him to stay the night and took him to the guest room. What Robert had forgotten in his inhibited state was that I was already in that room. He and his fiancée retired for the night and David locked the door before stripping down to his boxers and slipping into bed beside me. When the bed creaked beneath his weight, I smiled and reached for him. He came willingly into my touch. I don't know if he knew it was me that was in the bed, but I certainly didn't know it was him. Maybe he thought I had planned it or it was his lucky night. Either way, I felt his lips fall on my chin in the darkness that enveloped us. My head tilted to the side and our lips found each other's. I kissed him deeply. If I was sober I would have realized how toned my boyfriend suddenly seemed, but having not been intimate with him in a rather long time, everything felt a little different but as good or even better than I remembered. "I need you," I gasped out. I watched him nod his head above me. "Get it," I said. I watched him move away from me and reach for his wallet. It was dark enough that all I could see was his silhouette and not his face, or else I would have realized that the man I was inviting to enter me was not my boyfriend. He moved back towards me. He moved slowly at first, then quicker, picking up the pace. The bed rocked beneath us and I panicked, thinking Robert and his fiancée could hear us. "Stop, stop. Go slower," I whispered frantically. And he kept going. I never remembered the last time my boyfriend had that much energy. By the time we came back down from the high, our breathing was heavy and erratic. I was the first to break the silence. "I need to use the washroom," I breathed out. He nodded and slowly slid out of me. I let out a sigh and got out of bed. I moved towards the attached bathroom. By the time I was out, I saw his silhouette lying down on the bed. I slipped into bed beside him and he stirred. He pulled me into his body and I welcomed his warm embrace. I fell asleep almost instantly and didn't wake up until a couple of hours later when he went to the bathroom. I stirred when he came back to bed. He pressed kisses along my cheek, causing me to giggle sleepily. "Go back to sleep, baby," I cooed softly. "I want you," he rasped out in a low voice near my ear. I was still tired but slowly waking up. "Already awake for me?" I asked teasingly. "Do you have more?" I asked, hoping he hadn't brought just one. He nodded his head and handed me the packet. I leaned down to kiss him and that was when a lightning bolt bolted through the sky, illuminating the room slightly. I caught sight of his face and froze. Just as I dropped my eyes, could see his face, not that clearly, but I could see that it was not my boyfriend. Instead, it was David. The shock had my mouth parted but no sound came out. I couldn't move. I just froze. I didn't even know what was happening. "Oh my God. David. David. What are you doing?" I managed to gasp out. "Giving you what you need," he grunted back. "No." I whimpered out. I didn't pull away. I couldn't. His arms were cinched around me, holding me in place. "Nick. Where's Nick?" I managed to breathe out but all I got back were grunts. "Not too loud. They might hear," he breathed out, nipping at my earlobe. I immediately tried to quiet down, scared to wake up Robert and have him find me in such a position. How did David end up in my room? Where was my boyfriend? Was he never there? Was David the one? A million questions ran through my head even as another orgasm bubbled inside me. I couldn't make heads or tails of what was happening. I couldn't help it. Why did it feel so good? You like that? He breathed out as he held my gaze. I nodded my head absent-mindedly, unable to construct words. Do you want me to stop? He asked. I shook my head again. That was enough for him. I was still high and drunk. Needy. And did he feel good? I didn't know what to say. My boyfriend's best friend no less. While these thoughts were going through my head, I didn't realize he was leaning down until his lips pressed to mine. I found myself kissing him back without thought for a second before I pushed him away. He took the hint and slipped out of me before heading to the bathroom. I was alone. I didn't know what to do as I lay there gathering my strength. I finally moved, reaching down to pick up my shirt. I slipped them on, then slipped on my shorts and stepped out of the room quietly. I glanced down at my phone and saw messages from my boyfriend apologizing that he couldn't stay over and saying that he had reached home about 2 hours ago. I couldn't believe it. I stepped out onto the empty balcony, needing some fresh air to clear my head after what happened. My legs were still wobbly. That was when David arrived behind me. Wearing only his boxers. I was shivering slightly as I turned to face him. I didn't know what to say. Whether to shout or cry. I remained silent and we simply watched each other for a moment, both still drunk and sleepy. Are you okay? He asked, breaking the silence. I thought you were Nick. We shouldn't have done that, I managed to blurt out. Did you not enjoy it? He asked, taking a step towards me. That's not the point. I have a boyfriend. Another step and he was standing in front of me, all lean and towering above me. I know. I am not asking you to leave him. Just asking if you enjoyed it, he said in a strangely calm voice. I opened my mouth but no words came out. My mind was reeling. I really enjoyed it. You're so beautiful and amazing, Bonnie. He breathed out as he continued to gently kiss my neck. Did you like it? Yes, I finally breathed out. He didn't stop. He kissed me. You feel so good, Bonnie, he whispered. This is wrong, I whispered back but didn't take my hand away. Get down on your knees, he instructed. No, not here. Robert might come out, I protested, but he pressed down on my shoulders and I succumbed, falling to my knees. He grabbed a handful of my hair, making my eyes widen with the sudden unexpected loss of control. I probably should have had some doubt, or guilt about what I was doing. I wanted to please him. To give him an experience he wouldn't forget, and seeing that I was doing so, only drenched me quicker. I fought the moment of panic when my body registered the fact that I couldn't breathe. I had done this before and I knew if I just calmed myself I could do it. Do you like me, you? He grunted into my ear between thrusts. All I could do was nod my head. Will let me you again? He asked into my ear. Again all I could do was nod. Tell me, he insisted. Yes. Yes. You can again. Whenever you want. I said in a daze. I think I should get going before Robert wakes up, he said. I nodded my head, not knowing what to say. Hey. His voice made me look up. His hand closed around mine and we moved back to the bedroom. I will see you again soon. He asked, watching me closely as he got dressed. I bit my bottom lip, before curtly nodding my head. He smiled and hugged me tightly, kissing me again before leaving. My heart was pounding, my entire body glowing. I felt unstoppably alive, like I had just awoken from the rut I was in. And it was all because of him. I closed my eyes and let the sweeping rush take hold of me. It elevated me entirely as I laid back in bed to sleep. A part of me could hardly wait to see him again.